like seeing Chris Lytle back in there against Jake Shields, Rico Rodriguez. It was really, really a great event. Can't wait for the next one. Have you already sold out like you did last time? I think last time, 30 days ahead of time, you were already sold out.
No, we have a couple of tickets left. In fact, I get a count every day, and I believe there was right at 200 today. 200, and I think are we right at a month out? That would be a record, even by our own standards. But no, there's some tickets left. We've got Jones versus Dan Henderson, and we got Misha Tate versus Jessica Ai, which is interesting because then over the weekend Misha retired, and
I know.
so I don't know if that means that's also her way of letting us know, hey, I'm taking my oars out of the water, or if that was just from MMA. I haven't talked to Misha yet, but at any rate, big match for us that I expect that it'll still come through.
Yeah, so they did an MMA fight recently, and now they're running it back at Submission Underground 2. Very interested to see how that one's going to play out. Jessica definitely has to be motivated because she didn't get the best of Misha with the MMA portion of it. And, of course, Misha's got a reputation to hold up. She's one of the best grapplers out there.
Yeah, Misha was the world champion, if I can remind you. Misha was the world champion in July of this year. I don't accept her resignation. I wish Dana would have told her the same thing. You can't go from being the world champion and headlining UFC 200 4 months later to being out of the business. You just simply can't. If you need some time off, take some time off. But the July card, that was yesterday. That just happened as she was on top of the bill. Come on. I think she needs a little break. That's her decision to make, not mine. But as a fan, I'm going, man, this math just doesn't work. You were the queen of the universe 4 months ago. You can't be out of the business today. We don't accept it, Misha.
I agree. And John Jones versus Dan Henderson, who thought of that one?
What do you think of that?
That's awesome.
Yeah, what do you think of that? That came right from the top. Martin Florini, CEO at Flow Sports, he said, that's the match I want. And those guys said, yeah. Those guys said, well, we've been wanting to do that match for a while, too. So let's just do it on December 11th. It wasn't very hard to put together.
We have this cool felt here at Mandalay Bay. The sportsbook manager gave it to us as a gift. And when there's fights at Mandalay Bay, all the blackjack tables, they all get that felt put in where it has the event. And he gave it to us. I think a tear came down our eyes when he did. He said, as long as you don't sell it on eBay. We have it and we treasure it, but we never got to see them, do the thing in MMA. Thank you for bringing it to Submission Underground too. I can't wait to see these guys grapple. I mean, both have the wrestling background, and now we'll see who can mesh that with their Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu game and come out on top.
I think it's very curious. John Jones was a very good wrestler, but he didn't do it on a really high level. He went through the junior college ranks, won the national title there, signed with Iowa State, a Division I program, but ended up not following through with that. Then you look at Dan Henderson, two-time Olympian for the country, and I'm not positive that Henderson, with his Olympic bids and everything else, has an advantage over Jones when you figure in the weight difference and the height difference and I'm not positive. I don't know how this match is going to go.
We're talking to Chael Sonnen, and we're talking about Submission Underground 2. The event is presented by Flow Sports and Chael Sonnen. It takes place on December 11th at the Roseland Theater in Portland, Oregon, and it will be streamed live internationally at flowgrappling.com. Start time, 2:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, Goes, what do you have for the American Gangster?
Chael, looking over that matchup of John Jones and Dan Henderson, I'm sure before you could put that matchup together, you had to call one of them. Which one did you call first? And once you got the okay on one side, what was the call like for the second guy?
Well, we went to John Jones first, and we just asked him if he wanted to participate, and he did, and he gave us the name Dan Henderson. Wow. He made that suggestion, and we thought, really, Dan Henderson? We were going somewhere totally different with John Jones. We were looking to put him in there with Vinny Magliash. Never even called Vinny. John came to us with the name of I want Dan, and we just thought, yeah, let's do UFC 151. Let's just make that happen. So we were looking to put John, the greatest MMA fighter of all time, in there with Vinny, the greatest grappler of all time. So that's where we were going. But John had the idea. Boom, we called Dan. Dan said, let me talk to my wife. I'll call you right back. And as he said that, his wife walked in the door. So he never even hung up. He yelled to her. She said, yeah, let's do it. And he said, well, I'm in. And that was it.
That's awesome. That's
How's
one
that
of
for easy? How's that for? And that's really what you want. You want two guys that want to compete with one another. You know, if a guy needs a carrot dangled in front of his face or he needs begged, he's the wrong guy. Cut him and move on. The right guy steps forward every single time. And if you got to go, and I will tell you, it has been nothing but disappointing dealing with the true world of Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. I mean, you know, I got a lot of respect for those guys, but as far as those guys being legit tough guys, oh my God, what a bunch of pansies! I have been stunned at they do not want to compete. They are so married to their records, and I'm 400-0, and I'm 1,000,000 and none, and I mean, what are these made up BS? It's why nobody knows who these guys are, and nobody cares. We come out to try to give them an opportunity to showcase them. You can't find a jiu-jitsu themed event that sells out. It doesn't happen. You can't find a jiu-jitsu themed event that goes and streams online. It doesn't happen. This is it. If you are a big deal, this is where you want to come. And it is shocking how many of those wimps do not want to put it on the line. They would rather live in the fairy tale of, you know, I got my 30 students and they all think I'm really great and I'm never going to let them see there's no Santa Claus. You would be stunned at the cowardice of that industry. It is so disappointing and shocking to me.
Is that a lot of the old
we
guard?
We almost pulled out of it and go, hey, look, I'm out. I don't want to promote these guys. I don't want to be behind these guys. These guys are straight-up cowardly wimps. It is shocking. If I was to name drop on you the kind of guys and all of the stipulations that they would put on it, which we don't hear. Look, it's EBI rules. That's it. You either want to compete or you don't. And their answer is we don't.
Wow. Chael, is that a lot of the old guard, or is that the new generation as well?
Hey, I'll tell you, I mean, I don't really know about the age of them. I can just tell you the guys with the names that are looking to compete and pretending that they want to be in Abu Dhabi and pretending that, you know, they should be getting the signups because they've got some kind of a secret. They do not want to compete. And as soon as they do, then some of these guys have managers. I was talking to some jiu-jitsu guys. I dropped their names for you. If you guys want to know who in the hell they are. They had managers. And I'm going, what are you managing? Well, I'm managing their career. What career? What career? We're running the space. We're the ones with the checkbooks. We're the one with the audience. And you're telling us, and you're puffing up to me? It doesn't work that way, guys. And I'm not calling a manager of a jiu-jitsu guy. I mean, it's the strangest thing, and we saw Josh Barnett do it. Josh rolls over to Metamoris. He's not a jiu-jitsu guy. He leaves with their heavyweight championship, and it's like, guys, your art either works or it doesn't. Do you have anyone you want to put forward that says that you've got a good art? And there is an answer. There are guys that do it. Fabiano Schern will take on anybody. Rico Rodriguez identifies himself with jiu-jitsu. He come take on anybody. Vinny, anybody. But, man, you gotta look under 1,000 stones to find – you know, those few guys that truly do want to compete. The rest of them are, I'm shocked at what a bunch of sissies are in that space. And some of them have managers. They got managers managing their jiu-jitsu careers. Like, yeah, I guess. Okay. What?
Chael, did it boil down to that because you're using the EBI rules and there's going to be a winner, there's no draws, is that what phased a lot of them out?
Oh, a lot of them didn't want anything to do with that. Yeah, a lot of them did not want anything to do with that. And they didn't like the EBI rules. They didn't like that we are going to find out tonight, one way or the other, who's better. And, you know, they kind of like that allure and go out and hold on. And I get it. I'm not here just to bash on them. I will just tell you, I jumped into this as a fan. I spent a couple of years once I was suspended from MMA and retired of just doing jiu-jitsu, and I thought, well, you know what these guys need? These guys work hard. They got incredible skill sets here. They got a whole culture. This isn't being exposed. What they need is an opportunity to showcase it, to compete. That's it. If that works from a business standpoint, we'll find that out later, but these guys need an opportunity. Let's start with that. You try to give them the opportunity. Oh, man, they don't want anything to do with it. You know, they just don't, and that's been one of my contentions with jiu-jitsu for a long time. How real is this sport? I know it's not in the junior highs and the high schools and the colleges and the Olympic Games. I get that it's a niche sport, but, man, I'm looking around going, there's some real skills here. There's some guys that work hard and sacrifice and are dedicated. Let's give them a chance. You try to give them a chance, man, you use the word compete. Wow. They don't want to do it. They just don't want to do it.
Surprising. All right, so Chael,
I'll give an example. Yeah. Mackenzie Dern is supposedly a world champion in jiu-jitsu. We tried to put Mackenzie Dern against Misha Tate. Misha Tate accepted on the spot coming in to Mackenzie's world, who's trying to break into MMA. So it's a opportunity of a lifetime for Mackenzie, because she is now going to get to go against the queen of MMA that just was the world champion a minute ago. To come into her world, Mackenzie turns the match down. You just go, this is insane. This is insane that you were scared to compete in what you were allegedly the champion of the world at.
Especially after getting that submission in, I think it was Houston not too long ago, where it was like 3 submissions in 1 hold.
That could have been a huge skin on her wall.
It sure could have, man. Yeah, you got to put yourself out there. All right, Chael. So listen, a couple other things. You a man of many hats, taking your welcome to 3 times a week. Awesome. And I really enjoyed the episode.
I don't see it as a job. I think you guys can relate, man. It's fun. You bring people in that you like talking to, you visit with them, you record it and put it out. So, we moved to 3 days a week, but, man, I'd go 5 days a week if I could. There's always something to discuss, and it's fun when people want to hear it. So there you go.
Folks, it's easy. Subscribe to You're Welcome with Chael Sonnen on iTunes. Just look up way at the top of sports and recreation. He's right there. He's kicking ass. He's doing a great job. And, of course, Submission Underground 2 happening December 11th, 2016 at the Rosen Theater in Portland, Oregon. John Jones versus Dan Henderson. Miesha Tate is also going to be grappling on that card versus Jessica I. So it's going to be a ton of fun. Last thing, Chael. UFC 205, big moment for the sport. Your thoughts, McGregor Alvarez, or anything else you want to throw at us?
That was stunning to me. That was stunning. I was a little late to the McGregor bandwagon. I accepted him as an entertainer. I accepted him as fun and high energy. But as far as his skill set went, I thought they were a little bit weird. You know, Jeet Kune Do is a weird thing to do. Going into the octagon and not knowing how to wrestle a lick is something that has not proved to be a great recipe for success. All of that said, it was unbelievable. And not only to get a win, not only to beat Eddie Alvarez, not only become the first guy to have two world championships simultaneously, but to deal with that kind of pressure and to explain to you guys the kind of pressure that he's under in that specific environment of headlining that card and everything that's on the line, and Eddie Alvarez standing in front of him, and to go out and compete on that level is very difficult to explain. You'd almost have to be a competitor that's been in something like that to be able to understand that he went out and competed in that environment and to such a high level. I just thought it was stunning. I don't know that I even have the words for it yet. It was really a remarkable feat by Conor McGregor.
Most definitely. He's like the Bizarro to some of these BJJ guys. He is willing to put it out there. He's willing to have the stones to put it out there and live and die, with the result. You're right. We are still at a loss for words. We tried to cover it for the last hour and a half, but we can't get to it all. All I know is he beat another world champion. He did it easily for the second time in a row. That's amazing to me.
He did it easily, and then even if you just look at the wrestling component, Eddie had told us all, look, I can go wrestle this guy, I can tackle him anytime I want, and Eddie is right. On paper, he's right. Eddie's a very good wrestler. A lot of us don't know that because he's always been one to use his hands and his speed and his power, but he's wrestled his whole life. Conor comes from a country, they don't even have wrestling. They don't contest the Olympic Games. Ireland doesn't. So in the sport of wrestling. So Eddie was right, and he wasn't even close to getting in on an attack. He wasn't close to getting to the leg or to the body or to an underhook or a front headlock. Conor just kept him at that distance and taunted him the entire time, but stood his ground. And it was really quite remarkable that he came from a wrestling deficit back in the Chad Mendez interim championship days, which wasn't that long ago, guys. That's less than 2 years ago. To absolutely shutting a guy down effortlessly in that realm. It really was incredible.
Chael, we always thank you for your time. Good